I'd like to call the regular town council meeting to order for Tuesday, January the 6th. Would you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, again, we invite you to attend this council meeting. We ask for your wisdom and your guidance in helping us to make the right decisions for all the citizens of Nashville. Amen. Amen. The first item on our agenda is the minutes from the last meeting. Were there any corrections to that meeting, December the 9th?
Not to my
If not,
knowledge.
do I hear a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Minutes are approved. The next item on our agenda is public comments, and we have one that is signed up, Kirby Winstead.
That may be pertaining to Backflow.
What?
That may be pertaining to Backflow. Check and see.
Is it retaining to the backflow?
Yes.
Then probably we just need to wait till we get to that, if you don't mind, Kirby. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is the Gov Delivery notification system.
Well, Mayor, we were going to have a demonstration by our town clerk on how to go on the town website and sign up to receive notifications. This last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of people miss garbage collection day because the routes were changed up for Christmas and New Year's. And we have like 92 people who've already signed up for that, and they were the recipients of an email or a text message from Lou telling them what days the garbage routes would be changed up. Now, we also put it in the newspaper. Well, we also had it on the December water bill. We also have it on our website and on a couple of our other social media. But we thought it would be a good opportunity, with that still kind of fresh in people's minds, to watch a demonstration on how to sign up for that. But since Lou's not here this evening, I asked the council that we table that to the next meeting, and she'll be able to give that demonstration at the next meeting.
Do I hear a motion to table this item?
I make that motion.
So move. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We'll table that until Lou is well. The first item on our business under old business is the Red Oak Road Water Connect fees.
Mayor and Council, we sent letters out to the 27 property owners along Red Oak Road, where our water extension is going to be between First Street and Red Oak, or our First Street extension and Eastern Avenue. And we had a couple respond that they were interested in connecting to get the town's water. So the first question was, well, what's the connection fee? I know in the past I've been told that the town has waived or reduced connection fees when we've done a project like this. The last one was Breedlove Road. I was thinking it was 2017, but Xavier asked me to look at the minutes. It was actually 2011, a little further back. And I put an excerpt from those meeting minutes on your desk there this evening. In that case, the connection fee was $1,300 at the time, and the council reduced it to anybody who would annex and connect to the water main as it was being built, down to $700 if basically it was on the same side of the road as the water main, but if it had to be punched under Breedlove Road, then it was $850. So we have Jason Glover, our Public Works Director, here with us this evening, and he and I would like to make a recommendation to the council that in lieu of, now the policy is, it was then too, but loosely enforced, I believe, you must annex in order to get the town water. The average home out there has a taxable value that will result in them paying about $1,100 of taxes to the town of Nashville. And, in lieu of getting that
Per year.
The first year, we'd like to recommend the council that we just waive the connection fee for anybody who would like to connect at this time, and maybe have that offer out there for a period of maybe 3 months, if they
If they annex.
annex.
Can we send a letter to everybody and say that?
Yes, we can, if that's what the council's
And
wishes
I
are.
have a question too. Randy, if they do choose not to annex, then they will be charged, they can still connect, but be charged the out-of-county fee?
No,
Cannot?
in the past, I think that, but, since, Bill, since
we
you
have the
came
policy.
on, the council has reiterated its policy and said no receiving of the town services without annexation.
Okay.
I do have one question. So I know we talk about where the excavation is going to be, it's tearing up, next to driveways and things like that, and we're going to put everything back the way that it was eventually. Are we doing that as we go, where we really need that first person to make a decision on the earlier side, or are we closing everything up all at once in May when everything is done?
They'll close it up as they go, and then they'll come back and pour the driveways. We talked to the project engineer, Kevin Varnell, and I, and Jason, we had a conversation with Brian Corbett, the contractor, and the contractor and the engineer are going to work with those 6 property owners who have hard surface driveways that are going to be impacted by this project. 4 of them are concrete, 2 of them are asphalt. And they're going to make plans, let them know when we're going to go through and when we plan. Going through is no problem. I mean, within a matter of an hour and a half, they can excavate through, put the pipe in, backfill it with gravel, and they can use it again. But it's the repouring of the concrete. You typically like to keep traffic off freshly poured concrete until it firms up a little bit, a day and a half. So they're going to try and see if one neighbor would allow the other to use their driveway, drive across the front yard, use the neighbor's driveway to get in and out, fix theirs, and then like that. So it will be coordinated.
So I guess my question is, as far as reducing our costs, since we're already going to be out there and things are going to be open, when are we planning on having whoever it is that wants to annex and receive water make that determination before we even start this project, or by the end of it? I just don't want us to come back and have to dig through gravel and do more work.
Yeah, but by the end of it, I mean, the contract should have already been signed by the contractor, and I believe Kevin Varnell was planning on giving the notice to proceed this week. They got 90 days to do it, so they're supposed to be finished with this project by April 15th at the latest. So, like I said, we need to put a deadline if you're willing to waive the fee or reduce it for a period of time, and probably to the end of April or middle of April. That's when the contractor is supposed to be done with the project. And then we didn't have in the contract a pay item for the contractor to physically connect everybody to water or anybody, but I've asked the engineer to get a price from Brian Corbett on that. We'll compare that with what it will cost our guys to do it, and chances are it's going to be less expensive to have Brian do it while he's constructing the project than us to come behind him and do it.
So then I think it would definitely be in our favor to have it before the end of the contract period to make sure that anyone who wants to take advantage of this is able to do it at the lowest cost for the town.
Themselves.
Right. And I would just suggest when you send out the letter to really bold out what it would cost normally, and that we will waive that with the annexation.
Yeah, definitely have a deadline on the time.
Yeah. So we're waiving the contract.
Well, that's-
We either
we've got
waive
to
it or
vote on
reduce. We
that,
got to talk
but
about
we are
that.
gonna-
Okay.
But we are going to send the letters out telling them what it would cost if we didn't waive. Okay, that's great. So are there any other questions?
No, we're just doing a connector. They have to pay from the house. Is that right? Or
Yes, well, what our expense or the scope of what we would do would tap the main, run a service line to their property line, install a meter box, install a meter, and then their contractor or
Has to
plumber
do the
would
rest of
have to take it from there to their house.
Gotcha.
Any other questions?
I'm okay with getting the reduced fee if they annex and have a date on it. I'm okay with that.
In that case, do I hear a motion to waive or significantly reduce the $2,400 water connection fee for Red Oak Road property owners who choose to annex and connect to the Red Oak Road water main as the water main is being constructed?
Mayor, I make a motion that we offer this to those customers who agree to annex and waive any fee because they will be annexing into the town
Right. Is there a
if they
second?
agree to do it in this time frame.
Is there a second to Xavier's motion?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Can we put a date on it while we're making
Oh,
the
yes.
motion?
I would say April 1st. That way we know it's done before the contract is finished.
Is that enough time?
Yeah, it should be.
That's roughly a good 90 days.
We can
Yeah.
annex within 60 days of getting the voluntary annexation petition.
In addition to the April 1st date.
Okay, and all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
The next item on our agenda is the backflow preventer reimbursement. Randy, and then I'll turn it over to you, Kirby.
So at our last meeting in November, the council agreed to reimburse the folks that installed a water backflow valve that weren't required to by statute. And a number have already requested that and have already received their payment for it. We did have, at that particular meeting, Kirby Winstead came and asked, what about removing them? He would rather not have it in because they can be problematic, as we found out here back December 15th when several of them, when we had a cold snap actually froze. So you wanted to take that into consideration, and there was also a request to two customers who put in the backflow valve that ended up having to replace their hot water heater because they began leaking afterwards, whether or not you wanted to reimburse that. So, what Kirby suggested is his particular plumber would take the backflow valve back and give credit, whatever the difference is between the credit and the cost of taking it out, which hopefully would be minimal, maybe $50, $75, and the town would reimburse that. Otherwise, if we take 50 of them out and they turn them into the town, and now they're ours because we paid for them to be installed and they've been surrendered, I'm sure we could put them on Gov Deal and get rid of them on Gov Deals, but quite frankly, I think it'd be a better value for the town if the plumbers would take them back and give their customers credit, and then we just pay the difference, if there is any.
Can we hear from Kirby now?
Yes.
Kirby?
Kirby Winstead, 101 Forest View Drive. Again, Mayor, council members, basically Randy summed it up, and I mean, I've already addressed you guys on this, and what our concerns are. We actually had put in three at three different properties. For each one, after the buyback, it would only be $240 per location, minus the permit fees, which I'm assuming the town would more than likely waive. I don't know about the county, probably not. But so that would really be our only additional cost. The town's already issued us a check refund for everything. I don't know if you guys still have the packets I gave you at the November meeting, but it has the breakdown. I can get you that if you need it. But it gives you a good benchmark as well to know what is a legitimate price to have this redone, so that you're not being overpriced on some quotes. We are concerned that $240, that's very minimal considering what it's going to cost down the road to even do preventive maintenance on them if we were to keep them in place. That's why we want to just have them removed, have the pipe put back underground like it was for the last 30 years. So if you guys have any questions for me.
Do you think the plumber, or maybe you don't know this, but is there, I think I've asked this before, but is there a demand for those? I mean, an average plumber can get rid of them pretty easy, you think?
I can't really answer that question. Mine can, because he has connections with a lot of, anyone that installs pools or irrigation is going to be required to do this.
Okay.
He has colleagues
He does that kind of stuff.
that will use them. So that's why this is a very legitimate, estimate of what he's given me, and very fair estimate on. But the longer it drags out, the more the price goes down, because they're considered lightly used.
Gotcha.
Thank you,
Okay?
Kirby.
Thank you.
Any? Yes.
Lane Robertson, 509 Park Court. My concern from the beginning was freezing. And I've got 5 customers on one meter. And they probably expect me to compensate them for what they're gonna earn or should have earned. And someone is already backed into ours. So I'm all for removing them. So,
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Randy or any comments from the council?
How many was there again?
There was like, my goodness, I could have told you this morning. Let me look it up here quick.
It's like 30 or 40, right? It's not like hundreds.
No, it wasn't 100.
Yeah.
I think they said 40 something. Mayor, and if I may, I do think it's better for us to pursue getting them all removed. That way there's not a potential for anything to happen further on down the road.
And I think at the same
Put
time,
things back the way it was from the beginning.
and I think it lets our citizens know that we want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to hurt any of them. We really want to do the right thing.
Bill 58.
58. I think we need to remove the ones that people want to remove, and we have a deadline to have it done, and then either ours or we give them credit for if they get bought out. I think that's the only thing that's fair to do.
Sure. So what day would you like to put out there for, you know?
How long do we give them to put them in the first time?
Well, those that put them in jumped on it pretty quick.
Yeah.
I mean, this list would be a lot longer if everybody would have done it. You know, thankfully for us, they didn't in the long run. But I would suggest not going beyond June of this year.
So 120 days, 150 days?
I think that's way too far.
What is your recommendation, Larry?
If they're gonna do it, they need to go ahead and do it. I would suggest 90 days. That's
90
pretty much-
days.
Give them 90 days to do it. And let
Well,
it be-
like Kirby said, the sooner they do it, the more value
Right.
Yeah.
the surrender one has.
Right.
So they have a
let's do
deadline,
90.
they're going to move them faster.
Let's
Yeah,
do
move 'em
90
out.
days, right? Is that agreed upon?
I think 90 days is fair.
I think 90 days is fair. Kirby, if you were sitting on the other side and hadn't done yours already, wouldn't you think 90 days would have been enough time for you?
Yes, sir.
I moved that we give 90 days to do it, and that be the cutoff date.
And
Any
they-
other-
Either they bring them back to us, or they get credit and get the difference back.
Right.
Preferably they call Kirby's plumber.
That's my motion.
Okay.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item on our agenda
Mayor.
is, oh, I'm sorry.
Did you want to have discussion about reimbursement of the water heaters?
That's right.
And there were two.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Well,
How old were the water heaters, do you know? I was wondering about that when I read it.
Well, I don't have firsthand information on that, but Lou reached out to the two that were requested. I think one was 15 and the other was 12 years. And I think, Xavier, at the last meeting, didn't you Google the
Yeah.
average life of a hot water heater?
Yeah, we did. One, it was a certain amount of years for the electrical. It was another certain amount of years for the gas one. But now my question to that, if I could, the follow-up question would certainly be, does that go beyond the scope of what we require? Because when you get into that, it appears to me that that may be something that a plumber should have advised a customer that they needed with putting in this particular new device, this backflow device. So you got to weigh all of that out before you start taking on that, because that may be beyond the scope of what we requested that was mandated by the state at the time as we knew it. And I think we need to be clear about that.
Having seen, the receipts of the installation of these, a number of the plumbers had in their description of work, in addition to installing the check valve, putting in an expansion tank and the piping, the plumbing inside the building itself. Because when you put that check valve in, now the hot water heats up, that creates more pressure. It can't go back out into the water main out at the street. It's trapped in the building, and especially if you have a commercial hot water heater, such as a restaurant where your water temperature is set beyond 120, 145 for your dishwasher to work good, it's going to create a lot more pressure. And yeah, it'll probably, if you don't have an expansion tank, it's going to pop the relief valve on that water heater and cause it to leak, spew water. So I was really surprised that the two customers who had their water heaters go out, one of which, the new one they put in, has since gone out, that their plumber didn't put in an expansion tank.
So my next question is,
Just before you do
Sure.
that, Kate, Randy, to your previous point, the gas was a range of 8 to 10 years. The electrical was 12 to 15 years. Thank you.
when we sent out the original letter, did we include a list of suggested plumbers to use?
Suggested, yes. Not recommended.
Okay.
Walt called around, because I told him, when you send these letters out, the first question you get, who am I
Who do
gonna
I
get to do it?
contact? Yeah.
So he did his homework, and he put in the letter a list of plumbers in the area that install backflow
Preventers. So this might be a Raz question. At the end of the day, is the plumber the responsible party to have informed the customer that they needed to have this? Or are we the responsible party for any and all things that
Do we
happened?
have to brown you?
Well, that's the other thing. If we were going to do this, I was going to suggest we do some sort of depreciation.
Exactly.
But we don't know if they were installed by permit or code the first time, the second time. I mean, a lot of questions
That's
here.
true, yeah.
Ms. Burns, legally speaking, this is, the issue is one of settling a possible claim against the town. And whenever you have that question, you've got issues of proximate cause, cause and effect, was there shared responsibility, what would be the fair measure of damages, full new replacement cost or something, it's just the settlement of a claim. I don't know if this is something that was plowed through the League of Municipalities Shared Risk Insurance Program, and they got involved in all this.
Not the hot water heater.
Not the hot water, okay. And given the values involved, it might be the kind of thing you wouldn't think, it might be within your deductible and that wouldn't come up. But these are legal issues that come up whenever you are dealing with possible settlement of a possible claim against the town. So yes, I mean, you could spend as much time investigating these what-ifs and, what are the alternatives? This wouldn't go to court, but just what are the strengths and weaknesses of the positions of the party claiming that the town owes them compensation for damage that's the town's fault versus what the town's position is in defending against that claim. I know that's a lot of explanation, but I mean, without more information, it's, staff could look into this and look into the causation question and what is the legal standard for what the town should be obligated to pay, and what this totals up. And then you make a settlement proposal, and I just suggested, Randy, that anytime a claim is going to be settled, you'd want to get a full release of claims executed by the party who's receiving compensation for damage that, the town's fault. So I can't say this is what's right in terms of addressing all of these questions of, should we pay this much or that much?
I guess my concern is we only have 2 people talking about the hot water heaters now, but we might have 15 more come 20 days from now. So I guess my point of view would be to do a little bit more investigation as to, should these plumbers have done a better job with this? And then maybe calculate some depreciated prices.
Well, and another thing I think we need to take into consideration, if we do choose to compensate or not compensate for leaking or damaged water heaters, if we choose not to do it, on the right hand, on the left hand, understand that if a claim does come up later on, what would the expense be to the town to defend that if it were to go to court? So do we pay it now or do we pay it later?
Right. And I think there is a factor of fairness here, too. I think people feel like it's a fair thing to do, but I just don't know if the total cost of a brand-new one is something.
When one's that old.
Right.
But if the expansion tank is code and they didn't get a permit and didn't follow code, then that's the question I want to know too.
Right. I guess, to my point, they then have to go after the plumber.
when you put those, you have to have an expansion tank.
Right, and then-
they didn't do it.
That, I mean, that's, there you
Right.
go.
That
I mean, we got a lot of
relieves-
questions here.
That relieved us.
I think we need to table this to get more information.
About the hot water heaters.
Yes,
Right, the
rest of it I'm good
responsibility of
with.
the plumber.
Hot-
Like,
yeah.
is it common to do the expansion tank? Is it required to do the expansion tank? Is it something that the plumber had failed to do?
Well,
But-
both of these were commercial. Their backflow valves were installed by the back door. The water heater was probably on the other side of the wall. All the other ones are residential. They were installed most likely out by the curb, and you have 30 feet of service line in between. There was a little more water line between the hot water heater and the check valve to absorb that additional pressure, and that caused problems. That's why I was really surprised for these two installations, why the plumber did not put an expansion tank in, knowing that the check valve and the water heater are so close together. But
But these weren't, we didn't require this at a house, so that's a moot argument. We only required it at,
Well, let me
No, anyone
rephrase
who
that.
had
Most of the commercial ones aren't downtown that installed. These were the ones that were downtown. Like, one that was done for Napa was out by the curb, the building sets back further. Elaine's building, again, where the weightlifting place is in, the hair salon, it's in the parking lot. Their water heater's back in the building. That may be some of the explanation as to why we haven't had a tooth.
but we need to find out if they're installed properly and got a permit.
And if we have not had the two, we also need to put a cutoff date. Because if the word gets out, where the town is giving you a new water heater, you may get another 47 of them.
Tonight.
And we don't need that.
Okay.
So do I hear a recommendation that we go on and reimburse people for the removal and the backflow like Kirby was talking about, but the people that request new hot water heaters, we do a little more investigating? Is that my understanding?
Yes, separating those two
We voted the
entities.
first part.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That's correct.
Okay.
So we're tabling the second part.
Yeah.
You need a motion for that?
Yes.
I make a motion, we table the discussion about hot water heaters.
I hear a second.
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. The next item on our agenda is the development agreement for Project Bailee in the WNCP.
Mayor and Council, we previously had a December 9th meeting, a public hearing on a development agreement between the town and TTL Development, LLC, which is Travis Phelps and Tom Brindle, for what is Phase 1 of their Bailee project in the West Nashville Commerce Park on the south 17 acres of the town's land. We had that public hearing, it was closed, there were no comments or objections, nobody spoke at that, and then we went into the agreement, and there were some desired changes, clarifications mostly, from the council on that agreement. So I went ahead and put as many of those in as we talked about. I missed a couple. Kate found a few more, Bill had one he wanted. Raz has taken a look at that revision, and I put on on the DIAS, the revised one. The changes are in red. The latest changes are highlighted in yellow. And with that, I'll let the council discuss the development agreement.
Do you want me to go first?
Sure,
Karen?
yeah, I can just go through what I had found and wanted to do. So on the first page,
Which first page, I'm sorry?
page number 1
In the book.
go to the book.
Okay, all right.
We define the property as the 17 acres on Cook Road, and then on the very next page and all throughout the document, we say that we are conveying the property, which, if it's a defined term of 17 acres, then we are conveying all 17 acres. So then we specify on page 2 what we intend to convey, which is the 3 1.5 acre lots. So my suggestion was to, instead of saying that we're conveying the property in that first paragraph, or paragraph 1 of page 2, do a lowercase property there, So it's not the defined property. And then at the end of that sentence, after we describe exactly what we're doing, which is the Phase 1, Exhibit 1, lots 1, 2, and 10, define that as Phase 1 property. And then anywhere in the document that we're talking about the 17 acres, we can say the property, or when we're talking about just the 3 1.5 acre lots, we can say the Phase 1 property. So we differentiate between the two. Let's see. When we talk about commencement,
Page 5,
page 5.
Yeah.
item 2.
Sorry, I'm flip-flopping between all of the agreements right now. Okay. When we talked about commencement, we said that the company would begin construction of the project improvements no later than 1 year after obtaining the required permits. I was still concerned that we didn't have a date that they needed to actually make that application for the permits. So that we can see progress, I was thinking, they must apply for the permit within however much from the execution of this contract, so that we're not just waiting, and they haven't even applied for the permit for 3 years, and we can't do anything with the property. Then there was a couple of typos, missing the word on, develop should be development. It's just
What
tiny
page is
little
that?
things.
Page
Seven.
So page 7,
Okay, I see.
shell buildings on lot 1 and 2. Then on the next paragraph, develop should be development. Then when we are talking about the phases in the exhibit
On page 7.
on page 7, we talk about Phase 1 and what we plan to do there, and then we jump right into Phase 2 and Phase 3 talking about conveyance. So I just wanted a simple sentence basically saying, should the parties mutually agree to enter into additional agreements after the completion of Phase 1, then Phase 2 and Phase 3 would have the following scopes. Those were my comments. I don't think I had any more. Oh, there was one more clarification comment, sorry. In the Phase 3 portion of it, we say that we're conveying both the lots and the street right-of-way. So I just wanted to say that we were only conveying the lots. So just add said lots
And what page
into
are
that.
you on there?
That one's page 7 as well. So it's that last
Okay, I
paragraph.
see, there you go.
So the street will belong to us the whole time, is it correctly?
Yes.
Once it's paved.
Right. They've corrected the agreement so that everywhere in there, it just talks about us separating the lots, subdividing the lots, conveying the lots, and only having separated the street right-of-way, not conveyance of the street right-of-way. But Raz, you had additional comments and language in there.
Just one, Mayor, members of council, the Ms. Burns' comments I received this morning, all of the issues that she raised were very well taken, and I concur with all the points she raised. I had prepared this page-and-a-half sheet with my responses to her comments in red, but most of it is technical. It really does not represent any substantive change. I hadn't reviewed the agreement since last December, and this was all, coming along strong this morning. But I think with the suggestions that I had incorporated in red and my follow-up, everything is fine. Nothing has changed from what was put together and is in your agenda packages. I did recommend one standalone change. It's in red on the second page of the comment sheet that I generated today. It just simply says that in the event the trigger for reconveyance of the property, that is, if the facilities on the Phase 1 lots aren't completed within 5 years as required by statute, the reconveyance of the property has to be made to the town, and it would be without monetary compensation for the land, without monetary compensation for any improvements that had been installed on the Phase 1 lots, and without compensation for any other improvements to the 17 acres that were within the scope of the greater project that might have been installed and paid for by TTL. just to make it very clear that the reconveyance would be unequivocal and there'd be no compensation for any of the developer's undertakings at that point. I think that's probably been understood all along, but it just clarifies that one could read it to say that there was no compensation for the land, but it really didn't specifically address all the investments otherwise made in the properties.
But there's no time triggers on phase 2 or 3, is there?
None. That really is going to require a supplemental economic development
absolutely.
agreement.
Later on, once we get, okay, all right, okay.
And that was more language that Raz had added in there in that portion of red on number 6.
Page
So
6?
I had basically wanted to just clarify with the one sentence he added very clearly that it would have to be in a separate agreement,
Right.
not included here.
Thank you. And Kate, we appreciate your expertise in this
I
area.
would say the same thing.
It's always nice to have an attorney that
I
can,
sit-
that focused on that area and
I
knows
sit
it.
quiet because when she gets to the wherefores and.
I know, I do
I'll leave that
too.
to
I
attorney.
yield the floor.
I yield.
But thank you so much. So are there any other questions?
Randy, I did want to just point out one thing. I see where you changed the definition, you took out the definition of property in the very beginning where we had defined it. I guess my question is, throughout the rest of this document, is there ever a time that we're talking about the entire 17 acres, or are we only ever addressing?
In the term project, you talk about the 17
Okay.
acres. The property, was struck in that very first, and then later on in Exhibit 3 also, in the scope, it says that the property is lot 1, 2, and 10.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's what's being conveyed.
Okay. I guess my original suggestion was to leave that, the property, so if we are talking about the entire 17 acres, we can say the property, but then in the first paragraph of Part 1 conveyance, to do the Phase 1 property. But if we're only ever talking about the 3 acres and we never really reference the 17 acres and can do that clearly, then that's fine to do it the way that you did it. I would just suggest at the last whereas, we still have a capital property, so just lowercase that property. It's on the first page, yeah.
But the entire 17 acres is part of the project. So we
Right.
need to make sure
Well, that's why I
yeah.
thought that we, and we might want to go back and do that original suggestion where we talk about the property being the 17 acres, and then we say Phase 1 property, and that's specifically the 3 lots.
Okay,
Okay.
we concur.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? If not, do I hear a motion to approve a development agreement between the Town of Nashville and TTL Development LLC, Travis Phelps and Tom Brindley for the Phase 1 of Project Bailee in the West Nashville Commerce Park, the south 17 acres on Cook Road,
With the changes discussed.
with the changes discussed tonight, and in red.
I make
And
that
yellow
motion.
and black.
Yes. And if you'd like, I can take a look at the final draft, and I'm sure Raz will too, just to make sure that it's all in.
Did I get a second?
Second, did you get it
Okay, all
first?
those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Great. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Regency Sewer Extension.
Oh, I think you.
Mayor, I believe you skipped
No,
one.
we
Did
you
did
got
I
back
skip?
here.
Okay, well,
Shortchange Sean.
oh, Sean, I sure did. I'm so sorry.
No worries,
Sean,
Mayor
it's your
and Council.
turn. I'm sorry.
Good evening once again, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me this evening. If you notice, back in 2024, we presented maybe roughly 8 properties within the town of Nashville that either were no zone or had been zoned through rezoning process in years to pass by previous council administrations. They just were not updated on the Nash County GIS zoning atlas. We have discovered 2 more that we knew about, that we sent in information on, but according to Nash County, there's certain things that we have to send to them as far as an ordinance amendment with the minutes saying it has been done. These 2 were done back in 2017. It is 2090 Eastern Avenue, 2122 Eastern Avenue. The council back in 2017 on September the 5th rezoned both of those properties from Ag 1 to O&I. We just need the council to adopt ordinance amendment 2026-01, stating that we do accept that rezoning to send to Nash County so they can update the Nash County GIS zoning atlas.
So do I hear a recommendation to approve ordinance 2026-01 rezoning 2090 Eastern Avenue and 2122 Eastern Avenue from agricultural A1 to office and institutional O and T, or O and I, and authorizing the ordinance be submitted to Nash County GIS zoning?
Motion made.
Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Carries. Now we have the Regency Sewer extension.
Well, Sean, I know you found these and you weren't here back when the problems are, but
Yes,
are
sir.
we actively looking for other mistakes possibly?
We are, me and Randy and myself have been going around checking the GIS portal on a frequent basis to see if
Okay.
there are any still not matching. I think, and I want to say, I believe this may be the last two. Now we're just waiting for Nash County to go in and do the updates, which we've been seeing correspondence to their staff, let them know that we need these done in a timely manner so that when realtors and investors look at these properties, they see the accurate zoning and not have to call the town. And we have to explain why it's not up there.
Mayor, if I may, unrelated to what we just discussed here.
Yes, sir.
You triggered my memory on something. During the past election that Kate and I were involved in, we had a voter to come out to vote and lived in
Harvest Creek.
in the Harvest Creek subdivision. And they were told that they could not vote because they were not in the city. And my mind, I got to shuffle in my mind, I know I forget a lot, but I thought we had already annexed them in, and I contacted Randy, and he said that yes, they had been annexed in. Would you follow up and make sure that the county knows or has notified the elections board that Harvest Creek is a part of Nashville now?
Yes, sir, Councilman Taylor. I can send an email out to the election director, Mr. Kearney, to let him know that was annexed in, and I can send the minutes and paperwork
Well, he said
for the
he
night
had-
we annexed it into
He
him.
hadn't got anything from the county, so we need to make sure that doesn't fall through the cracks.
We'll take care of that. I'm gonna get on that first thing in the morning for you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Randy?
So the Regency Sewer extension, at the last meeting, we had Mike Tolson with Matt Gay here talking about going ahead and letting bid on this particular project and the Essex Road Sewer Extension project. And the council gave him authorization to do that. Those bids are due January 22nd from the contractors. The Regency Estates Sewer Extension project has a small lift station or grinder pump in it, and the placement of which is proposed for a vacant lot in the far northeast corner of that subdivision. 6 months ago, I contacted the property owner of that property to inquire about getting an easement on that property for this project. She was agreeable to it. She is not the owner of record per se. She created a corporation in 1955 that owns that property today. The corporation has ceased to exist since 2012, same time the property taxes stopped being paid on it. She said that she would be more than willing to convey an easement or sell the whole property to the town, but she first wanted an opportunity to work with her attorney to clean up and properly terminate the phone corporation. Well, that was back in June. I've called her every month since, left a message on her phone. My messages have been getting more and more urgent every month as we get closer to starting this project, and I still haven't heard from her. So I reached out to Raz and talked about what we could do as far as acquiring the property, and Raz, I'll let you take it from there.
Mayor, the item relates to authorization for condemnation resolution to acquire the property through eminent domain. I would just want to ask for one clarification. I think the manager's report in the last paragraph says that the attorney advises that the town needs to pursue condemnation. Just from experience in other towns, we can give you options and make recommendations, but I don't want to go down on record as being the sponsor of a condemnation action by the town, because it can be controversial in small towns. But under the facts of this situation, I understand the property owner would be very interested to have the property as a whole conveyed. I prepared a resolution of condemnation. That kind of thing needs to be formalized to some degree, and most towns authorize condemnation actions to be filed in the Superior Court of the county by resolution. The process first, the authorization is required. In the authorizing resolution, you need to decide first and foremost whether you would choose to acquire the entire lot or whether you would acquire just an easement interest to accommodate the 20 by 20 pump station. I mentioned to Randy that, well, you got to have an access way, so you'll need to define an easement with some legally sufficient description of where on the property there will be vehicular access to the pump station. And in light of that, and in light of the fact that it's a pump station that probably isn't a great improvement to have on a
Front yard
residential
ornament.
lot, the statute authorizes a municipality to decide that for 3 criteria in the statute, you can choose to take an entire parcel, even though not all of the property is needed expressly for the public purpose. This may be the kind of case where you would be reasonable in doing that, and I drafted the resolution. I didn't see it in the agenda tonight,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
oh, okay. They say you have to describe the property that you're condemning. So a threshold issue is, does the town feel it's appropriate to acquire the entire lot rather than just a discrete easement for the pump station plus an access way? You don't have descriptions, legal descriptions for these select components at this point in time. You also have to make a determination of what the town's position will be on fair compensation. When you file these condemnation cases, you must allege and deposit with the clerk of court a sum of money that you maintain is just compensation for the taking of the property interest. So there may be one number that's the number you agree upon is proper number. If you take the whole property, there may be another number if you decide to take just an easement. But those two things do need to be decided. Generally, if you want to take the entire property, tax value is a good starting point. Mr. Lump might have some input on whether, what a residential lot in this neighborhood of this size and location and so forth, what the fair value would be if the tax value generally seems to be a fair indicator.
Well, there's not a house there, so there's a good chance it wasn't buildable without a system from the town.
It is not buildable.
Yeah.
And that obviously that could have been factored into the tax assessor's number, obviously. And if you take it, you value it as is, not as it would be improved by this taking in this project. So, again, if you're inclined to approve seeking to acquire this through condemnation, that would be a first determination. The second would be, would you want to take the entire property, as we have suggested in the resolution that I drafted, based on the criteria that would be in the public interest, to go ahead and just take it all. And you need to give the staff some guidance, because we have to send out a notice of intent to initiate condemnation proceedings letter by certified mail to all record owners or claimants. And you got to have some of that information in the notice letter. So need a number, need a decision on what you would like to acquire.
Well, we've got to come up with one because these people out in the Regency have been waiting for this for a long, long, long time.
Well, Mayor, I had spoke with Randy and with Sean concerning this, because I am a firm believer or disbeliever of eminent domain, taking people's property. But I went out there and looked at it, and my first thing was, well, the taxes have not been paid on it.
Right.
That was my first question.
Yeah.
How long have they not been paid?
Since
2012.
2012.
So what do they owe us?
It has not been paid in 12, 13 years.
$589? Can we deduct that from the value of the property?
Let that be the value.
We got,
But-
the rent on windows 800 now.
Oh, it's 800 now.
800 now. But and also, I went out and physically looked at it. And my question to Randy was, now, the portion that we needed for the 20 by 20, are we going to be smack dab in the middle of the lot, or are we going to be on the outer boundaries? Because I asked that question because I want to make sure that if we took the outer boundaries, would the property still be large enough for home construction to come on it. I didn't want to take the corner and the lot not be large enough to accommodate a home being built on it. Because they could come back up and say, well, you took it in this. But I went out and
Well, they hadn't paid tax.
took a look at it, and it has not anything been done to it. It's grown up, and it's about a 20-foot drop off at the back of the lot back there. So I don't think it would cost somebody too much to regrade it and bring it back up to, I guess, it's why it's still sitting there. But I have another question, Randy. Where does this property owner live? Do you have any idea?
Hunter Hill Road.
Oh, so it lives
Local.
local? And we still haven't got a response. Has she passed away?
I don't think so. I didn't
I mean,
check that.
that may be a reason she can't respond. Has she passed away? And that,
I looked and I didn't see an obituary, but that's,
you looking at all the obituaries?
no, but I looked quickly.
Okay, well, based on what I went up with, I was totally against eminent domain, but based on what I saw, I'm inclined to go along with us going forward with it. But Randy, I would like, give me that lady's name and let me see if,
Della Edwards.
name sounds familiar. Okay, Della, D-E-L-A,
Yep.
Edwards.
So do you want the 20 by 20 or you want the whole lot?
I want the whole lot.
Mayor, if I may
Well,
just-
based off of the legal counsel,
Right.
we would prefer the whole lot because the legal counsel has
And
done
not
the
paying
research.
taxes.
And I too agree that we don't prefer to do eminent domain on anyone, but in this particular case, looking at the activity that town staff have did to reach out,
Yep.
looking at the fact that the back taxes have not been paid, and I'm also looking at the overall good of that neighborhood, which means there's a certain percentage of homes that will need this lift station for the benefit going forward. With all of that in concern, yes, I'm for taking the whole lot based off the research that has been done by legal counsel, and that being the only reason.
Mayor, if I may just add one more
Yes.
comment. When you have property where a defunct corporate entity is the only record owner, it's not uncommon that eminent domain is used in order to acquire property where you have an inability to ascertain who owns the property. You don't have a party that actually is in a position to sell the property or to negotiate for the sale of the property. A tax foreclosure action is an alternative, but it takes longer.
I was going to ask you what the length was for either.
It takes longer, and it's a little more convoluted than eminent domain. In any event, the town would have to join in a condemnation action, the town as a holder of tax liens and the county as a holder of tax liens. So the county, it's just an alternative means. You can look at this as an alternative way of settling the title question and resolving the outstanding taxes issue. And should the town decide in the future that it really doesn't need to own the entire lot, one conceivable future option would be
We can sell
to,
it.
draw an easement, reserve an easement to accommodate the pump station, sell the balance of the property as surplus, because it still may have some usability and market value, depending upon where you locate the pump station, and, if at that point the property can be developed. So that's, all of those things enter into our recommendation that the condemnation
Yeah.
alternative may be the best.
So,
Based on all the conversation, I would offer a motion that we move forward with the eminent domain to get the property and for us to acquire the entire lot,
We need to set the price.
Huh?
We need to set the price.
tax value,
What's tax value?
tax
5180.
5180.
5180.
Minus 800 in back taxes. I'm serious.
I am too.
It'll net out.
Oh, and that's
We'll get it back eventually.
Yes.
And do I hear a second to Larry's motion?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. And I think that's everything on our agenda tonight. Randy, do you have anything else to say?
Just wanted to let the council know, we did get some good news today. We worked with Ben and Jones, the consultant, and submitted a CDBG housing rehab application. And we were notified today that we were awarded $950,000. That will help us to hopefully rehab and rebuild about five homes for low to moderate income homeowners in Nashville.
Awesome.
Yay, that's great.
Stuff.
That's great. Council, do any of you have any comments?
Mayor, before we adjourn out, if I may, I'm quite sure everybody in Nashville by this time has seen the Nashville graphic where it says, remembering a legend in town. For those that have moved here and have not lived in Nashville for quite a while, you may not know who Mr. Bobby Dunn was, but he's been a trailblazer in Nashville and in Nash County. And he was just buried this last Saturday. And I would propose that we offer, and as a matter of fact, he was given the longleaf pine by our former governor, Roy Cooper, because he was also Roy Cooper's coach. And if the governor thought enough of him to give him the Longleaf Pine Award, then I think Nashville should step up and do something in recognition. I've got his obituary page, and I would like for the council to endorse giving Lou an opportunity to create either a proclamation or a certificate of appreciation for his contribution to Nashville, the Nashville youth, and as well as Nash County, if I may.
And I attended, they honored him at his birthday, was it last year? 2 years ago, and I had the honor of speaking, and it was amazing, all the young people that gave testimonies of how he had influenced their lives. And so that was just a real, so I agree with you 100% on doing that. So do I hear a second to Larry's motion?
Second.
All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any other comments from the council?
You know, and everybody had a story to tell about Coach Dunn. I was not the athletic part to run football, do all that other stuff. I was a water boy on the sideline. But
Everybody needs a water boy.
everybody needs some water boy.
Everybody's got a gift.
But you know, he was the type of person that he looked at me and said, "You just ain't gonna make the team, but I'll let you be my water boy." He made provisions for everybody. And I do have a personal story that I can tell about him. It's not sports related, but I have to tell it individually. I can't tell it openly. But he was a great
really
man.
was.
He was a great man.
So at this time, do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
And thanks to all of you that came out tonight.
Yes.
That was a quick meeting.